Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2023 Toyota Highlander, we're going to be showing you how to install the etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver. Before we get into that though, why don't we just take a minute, check this out, and make sure it's going to be the right hitch for you. Putting a trailer hitch on a Highlander just makes sense. You know, people use these SUVs to do a ton of different things, you know, pulling trailers around, using accessories like bike racks and cargo carriers. Just about everything in between. So having this back here looks right at home, and it's going to open up our opportunities on what we're going to be able to do with our Highlander. Something I do want to address right off the bat is we get a lot of questions about is your hands-free liftgate assist feature still going to work if your vehicle is equipped with it after you put the trailer hitch on? And the answer is yes. Our model here today doesn't come equipped with that feature, but I've done a lot of these in the past and they work, you know. All you're really gonna have to do is kick your foot to either side of the receiver tube opening and everything will open up like it should. This hitch is going to work with all the different types of submodels of the Highlander, and it'll also work with hybrid models like we have here today. So regardless of what you got, you should be in pretty good shape there. Compared to some of the other hitches available, this one's probably my favorite, and really I say that because of the way it's going to look, almost completely hidden. You know, you're just going to be able to see this middle portion. It has a matte black finish and it almost matches the plastic on our bumper perfectly. And so to me, it almost looks like a factory option. There are some other hitches available. One of them is going to be visible, and so it's going to hang down. Definitely more noticeable and not as easy on the eyes as this one. But that one has really high weight capacities, and you can use a weight distribution system with it as well. So if you're someone that is planning on doing a lot of towing primarily, especially heavier trailers, or if you got a camper and want to use that weight distribution, that hitch may interest you a little bit more. With this being a Class 3 hitch, it's going to have a 2-inch by 2-inch opening, super common size, a lot of different types of accessories will work with it. It is going to use that standard 5/8 pin and clip. One doesn't come included with the hitch. If you need one, you can always grab it here at eTrailer. And a lot of times too, if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with a pin and clip. So just something to think about. The safety chain openings are going to be a plate style. And although they're not huge, they will give us enough space to use just about any size hook that our trailer might have on it. As far as the weight capacities go, this is going to have a 500-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. That's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So pretty high number. You'll be able to use pretty much any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you'd like to, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 5,000 pounds, or the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have in or on it. With that said though, I do always like to recommend, it's never a bad idea just to grab your Toyota's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your Highlander can handle that much weight safely. I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you can use these to help figure out what type of hitch mounted accessories will work best. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 16 inches. And if you plan on towing a trailer, chances are pretty good you can use a ball mount that has a straight shank. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 2 inches, which is really good clearance, so you shouldn't run into any issues. But if need be, you can use that to help figure out that if any folding type accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without hitting the back of your Highlander. When it comes down to it, if I had a Highlander and I was looking for a hitch, this would be the one I'd go with. You know, I just really like the way it looks. It's capable and easy to use and get to, so really can't go wrong. As far as the installation is concerned, really not too bad. You pop a small panel down on your driver's side, and essentially the hitch kind of just bolts up. So it really shouldn't run into too many issues or take you a bunch of time. But why don't we go ahead and get started on that now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Highlander. And first thing we need to do is remove this underbody panel here on the driver's side. To get this off, there's going to be a few different types of fasteners we need to remove. I believe a couple of them will be this push pin type. So you take a flathead screwdriver, kind of pry underneath the head, then you can pull that out. Just kind of work our way around and see what ones we need to get off. Looks like this one. And I think that's it for the push pins. Now we can change out to a 10mm socket, where it looks like even a Phillips head screwdriver might work. I'll pull that one out. This one removed. And then this one. There should be a couple more fasteners located on this, kind of this inside edge here up top. And these are just plastic nuts that'll stay connected to the panel. And with these, you can take an extension and a 12mm socket. Usually just turn them by hand. Sometimes, you know, you might have to kind of apply some downward pressure while you're unscrewing them to get them to kind of pop free, if you will. But once it is released, we can grab our panel and drop it down, set it to the side for now. We're gonna have several plugs in the bottom of our frame rail, and we need to remove those, so you can just take a trim tool or a screwdriver and work those out. I want to mention too, anything we do to one side of the vehicle, we'll do to the other side, because it'll be set up the same way. But that's going to expose our attachment points for our hitch. All right, so we're going to have 3. These are threaded weld nuts, and even though they're covered, not a bad idea to clean them out. Ours are brand new, so we're in good shape, but you can spray penetrating oil in there if you want to, and then take a toothbrush or something like that, kind of work it back and forth to clean out any debris that may be inside. Over here, just on the passenger side of our vehicle, we're going to have this little bracket that runs across, and we need to remove it because it'll be in the way of our hitch. So there's a 10mm screw. Pull that out, and then change over to a 17mm. We'll get that out of the way and removed as well. On each side of our vehicle, we're going to have this support tab connecting to our lower fascia there. What you're going to do is pop out that plastic fastener and just kind of bend that down a little bit. That way we'll have some extra space to get our hitch up into position. Just want to touch base on the hardware that we're going to use to secure the hitch. And it'll be the same for all the attachment points. So you're just going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. Make sure the teeth on the washer are going to face up towards the hitch. And so when we're holding that into position, we'll run the bolt through the hitch and it'll thread directly into the bottom of our frame. Now with an extra set of hands, we can get our hitch into position. So you're going to have to kind of go up and over the exhaust a little bit. And kind of work it up into place there. Once we have it lined up and in position, we're able to take a bolt, and we want to get at least one started on each side, hand tight. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the hardware. Go ahead and get all of our hardware started and hand tight. And once that is done, we can come back with a 3/4 inch socket and snug everything down. Then you want to come back with a torque wrench and make sure all of the hardware is torqued down to the amount specified in the instructions. We can trim out our panel now. That way we can get it back into position and not interfere with the hitch. So there's a diagram and instructions, and you can also just kind of roughly put this up in place and get a good idea on where to cut. So I just use both to figure out those spots. And being somewhat thick plastic, I'm going to use a multi-tool. You can use a Dremel tool or a pair of snips, kind of whatever you got. I'll go ahead and get this cut out. went ahead and took our bumper support tabs, just pushed them back into position and ran our push pin fastener back through there to get them reattached. And now we can take our trimmed out panel and get this reinstalled the opposite way that we removed it. With the panel back up, everything fits nice, looks good, and that's pretty much it. So that will finish up our look at and our installation of the etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver on our 2023 Toyota Highlander.